Welcome to another Chicago Bears 7-round mock draft. We are just about a month away from the NFL draft. Rumors are kind of starting to circulate that possibly Genty will be going to 6 at the rate, or going to the Raiders at 6. So he may not make it to the Bears, but we are going to run a 7-round mock and see what happens. So Cam Ward has basically became a lock to the Titans, and we have Sanders going to the Browns. I do think that the reality is it's probably going to go Ward, Carter, and then Hunter or Sanders at 3. But right now, we are looking at 10. We have Tedero McMillan, Malachi Starks, Jihad Campbell, Armand Membu, Mike Green, Will Johnson, Luther Burden, James Pierce. I don't know if I like any of these options, and I honestly think this is a worst case scenario for the Bears because the more and more I've been looking at with Armand Membu, it seems like he's only going to be a right tackle. So I personally think if you're in this position, trading back is probably the best option because, okay, Campbell's gone, Graham is gone, Carter's gone, Warren's gone, Genty's gone. Those are the Bears you want, in my opinion, or the players you want, in my opinion. So I think at this point, like a trade back is probably the best option, unless you want to take Mike Green.
No, I would agree. The trade back is that I would say the best option too.
Okay, so the options we have: Packers, Vikings, they're not going to trade. We have the Commanders and then the Colts at 14. I guess my thing is going back to 14, is it really worth it? Or should we go all the way back with the Commanders?
So
Or should we try to trade with another team and just force it through? Because I think that's probably what we should do. I mean, where would you want to move back to?
I would say somewhere around with where we're at right now. I mean, you'd think anywhere from the range of like 18 to 23.
Yeah, let's I'm trying to think of who would want to trade up here. Who is available? Tedero McMillan. Okay. I know there's been kind of some up and down stuff about him in terms of what teams actually like him, but I could see a team like, let's see. Let's have the Bengals trade up and take Ted.
That would be so wild.
Um,
That would
I
be,
don't know. I mean, I don't know where we're kind of looking here. I know that the Cardinals are probably not interested. The Broncos, I don't think are going to want to come up to 10. I don't know. I feel like this might be a scenario where the Bears might not be able to trade back. Cuz it's like what do you do here? And I think this is good. I think this is a good exercise. We've kind of not been in this position previously when we've done our mocks.
yeah, I mean, okay, well, all right.
So let's narrow down the position. Would we want to go edge here? Like cuz we have the option to have like probably the one of the better defensive players here.
yeah, I mean, I think look, the reality of the situation is at this point, like, and this is the thing. If we're forced to make a pick right here, right
Or Kenneth Grant.
you literally just took the words out. I was going to say, I think the two players that we got to narrow it down to is because look, I'm still on board with him. I know whatever the room, whatever. I still love James Pierce, but I think the reality is he's going to go further down at this
Yeah.
point. I think you narrow it down to Kenneth Grant or Mike Green, but I do think if I had to pick one of them, I do like the Mike Green upside more.
I like the
So
Mike Green upside, but I think Kenneth Grant can be like, you got to think like Billings is near kind of the end of his. I think he's got a year or two left. Grady Jarrett is older. Gervon Dexter, he's been good. So that's 3 right there. You have Chris Williams. Zach Pickens shouldn't be on the roster, in my opinion. So I feel like Kenneth Grant is more of a surefire pick than Mike Green, but I can understand the upside, especially because the edge depth is not as deep.
no, I mean, and here's my thing with Kenneth Grant. It's more just the consistency. Like,
Yeah.
and that's kind of the prop. But you know what? I guess he's one of those situations where it's like you get him around the right D line coach, and like he could explode. There are some reps where really are, you're like, wow, like this guy has like some unique ability for his
Yeah.
size. And you know what? we've done Mike Green before, if I'm not mistaken.
Let's do Kenneth Grant. That's
Let's
a
let's
weird one.
let's switch it up. Kenneth, yeah, you know what?
Kenneth Grant at
What some
10.
might call a reach. I like it. I
I
like
don't
that.
know. I feel like the opinion on him is all over the place. Like I think there are some people who would take him earlier than 10. Like Sam Monson said he would take him as early as he could.
No, I mean, I like Kenneth Grant a lot. I do. And he's in the age, you're getting someone who's not even 21 and a half yet. I mean, and by draft time won't be either. So I'm a fan of it. I love it.
All right, sitting here at 39, we got Demetrius Knight Jr., Tyreek Williams, Jack Besh, Xavier Watts, Trey Amos, Landon Jackson, Maxwell Harrison, Siobhan Ravel, Princely Mon I think I don't obviously go back to the edge market or the edge well. Um, you know, I do think Landon Jackson's a good pick here. Because you need that edge. I could also see running back because we have Judkins, Scatabo, Sampson, Caleb Johnson. I don't know, like if you unless you want to go like look at interior offensive linemen or tackles, you have Arianti Ursary, Donovan Jackson, Ozzie Trapillo, Marcus and Bo. I think in this position, like I've come to the conclusion that the Bears are probably not going to get Genty. I think the Raiders are probably going to take him. And I just really want Judkins if that's the case. Like I am really high on Judkins, so I'm good to take Judkins here. Again, we have a pick in 2 picks. But I think Judkins and Jackson could be good picks unless we want to trade back with one of these.
You know what? No, I like Judkins. And again, the earliest we've done a running back prior to this was the Genty mock. I like Judkins, especially after the measurements and the testing.
Okay.
Give me Judkins. Yeah, especially
Judkins is a bear.
again in just a second. Yeah, you know what? Judkins, bear him.
Bear, bro, he would just look so dope in a Bears uni too. But now we're
Aura.
Oh, dude, I'd buy a Judkins jersey. But now we're sitting here at 41, and we could go Landon Jackson. I do think safety is like a sneaky need though, and Xavier Watts is interesting here.
I was thinking the exact same thing.
I think it's a little different than what we've wanted. So, like, can you give me more of a breakdown on why Bears fans would want Watts?
Well, I mean, number one, you desperately want a safety where we've had issues with depth at the position. A guy like Watts who plays that ball hawk role in a defense where you need a guy that can come down to the box, but also be able to play that range up top if necessary. I mean, for the Dennis Allen defense, he fits the bill really well. My one concern would be, and that's not even necessarily a concern, maybe why you would say you'd maybe want to go a different route on some of these other guys we've talked about is that he is 23.
He's
and
older, yeah.
a prospect. But for safeties, traditionally, that's really not a big deal. And you want maybe in a sense you could say you want someone more experienced coming in, especially if they're going to be playing or taking that job from Brisker. So, and that's kind of thing.
Byard even too.
Yeah, depending on where. Yeah, exactly. So it's like. Yeah, I guess in this,
you could make the argument though is like he's more of an impact player than someone you have to develop.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, I was going to say like different packages you throw him in, even if because obviously you'd expect with Byard, it's like I mean Byard is still playing at a good level, but I mean it's interesting because there's different like even if he does not necessarily play like start year one, there's still good upside in it. I mean, I like it. I think it's a really good pick. I think it is a big need for the Bears, irregardless of what happens this year, right? Even if you're taking him to know he's a future piece, and some might argue that that's are they in the position to do that? But I think as far as like overall value of the player goes, Watts probably is like the best overall value guy at this point. I will say this though, he was my guy all year despite the injury. Like you said, he's still available if I'm not mistaken. Siobhan Ravel, like it's that same kind of thing.
He would be crazy.
He comes back healthy. I think a lot of people are going to be like, man, we let that injury fool us, but that's a tough game to play because that's not really a thing.
I
Like
al
the injury is it's a serious
I
injury. It's
also just think, like,
tackle.
the Bears need safety a lot more than corner.
Well, no, yeah, I was gonna. That's kind of the big thing, especially with how much that Kyler Gordon has really made the
Yeah.
jump.
I
Um,
think I think we should go Watts here because we've really have hammered home in our past mocks line, running back, like all line running back, and I think that's the right route to go. But the reality is we don't know how draft night's going to be, and we don't know where these players are going to go. So I think let's grab Watts here, and then let's readdress once we get to 72. So right now, to recap our first three picks, we have Kenneth Grant, the defensive interior tackle from Michigan. We have Quinshon Judkins, the running back from Ohio State, and we have Xavier Watts, the safety from the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. We're sitting here at 72 now. And our options are Dylan Sampson, CJ West, Alfred Collins, Mason Taylor, Ozzie Trapio, Terrence Ferguson, Joshua Farmer, Trey Harris, Jared Wilson, the center, um, Jonah Savanaia, the tackle who will probably be a guard at the next level, Wyatt Milam, Tate Ratledge, Devin Neal. Yeah. So, what position do you want to hammer down? Because I would probably recommend going O-line here because we have not addressed it yet.
no, I would agree with that. So okay, let's review. I
So,
know you said
yeah,
Ozzy was
Ozzie
available.
Trapio, Jared Wilson, Jonas Savanaia, Wyatt Milam, Tate Ratledge, Cameron Williams, Charles Grant. I'm not opposed to Savanaia because he's probably going to be a guard at the next level. Um, Trapio, I don't remember if he's a right or left tackle, but he's a big guy.
No, I think you. But my thing is with Ozzy is it's like you 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 get him right behind the right coach. You'll pick the side for him, right? You make him adjust, and I think I like Ozzy more just because kind of like
He
we
was right
talked
tackle
about.
for the he played left tackle his first year and then right tackle his past 2 years.
You know what? Here's my thing, Hunter. My vision would be you bring him in. At worst, we get really good depth, right? And we get really big size. Even, there are situations where right off the bat, even though he's not going to start this rookie year, you say, yeah, three tight end set. Durham, you're stay on the bench. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
we
yeah,
got,
yeah.
you know what I mean? Like we and especially knowing Ben Johnson, Ben Johnson will dial up a pass play for the man. I mean, look, and
Well,
that's not even a joke. But what I'm really saying is even though he won't start this rookie year, you can still have packages you'd find use for him in. But more than that, back to the Braxton Jones thing, to kind of wrap up my point, is we've kind of understood that for the money that Braxton will probably end up demanding, if he ends up, because he should have the best year of his career this year with Tooney next to him, and he's already been a solid player for the Bears. So in the perfect world, he's willing to take a huge pay cut and stay with the Bears. But it's like at this point, that doesn't seem like, as we discussed in the past, like the reality that we should expect going forward. So if you take Ozzy right here, you say, you know what, we have our contingency plan for the future and a
I'm
guy
down
we
for
can
that.
make immediate use of. I think I like it on that. And this is size that you can't teach this size.
Yeah, I mean, he's what was it, 6'8", 309 pounds. Yeah, I like that a lot. Let's go Ozzy Trapio here. Now, this is where the boring part of the draft starts for the Bears as they don't have another pick until 148. Um, Now, I do think there is a pretty good chance the Bears maneuver around in the draft and try to pick up a pick between there because there's a lot of good depth players in that position. And I have a feeling they're going to trade back with one of their second round picks. I just think it gives them more value later in the draft. Now we're sitting here at 148 so far. We have a tackle, a running back, a safety, and a defensive interior. Um, I do think you could go back to the offensive line well, but I do like the idea of adding maybe like a Jackson Hawes, like a very heavy blocking tight end. Um, you have Jake Briningstool from Clemson as well, Mitchell Evans for the tight ends. Or we could go look to add maybe a wide receiver. We have okay, so this is not going to be reality. For some reason, Kyle Williams is still here at 148.
Yeah, the PFF has sleeped and has not made the updates on Kyle Williams. And that's kind of one of those things where it's like we can't even like we have to have in good faith.
Yeah, I
That's
can't do this. I can't
just
do this.
cheese.
I can't do this because I already know there's going to be Kyle Williams isn't going to be there. He's not going to be there when the Bears are picking. I understand, and I'm not going to do that. And that's what would happen. So, someone that maybe there, Nick Nash. I like Nick Nash. You have Kobe
You know
Hudson
I like
from
Nick Nash.
UCF. I just positionally, Dobbs. I don't know where you want to like kind of nail this down. My guess would be tight end, receiver, or if any defensive linemen are still available.
I
Or
mean,
interior guys. I don't know.
Hunter, I think we're trying to hammer. We're locking in on guys that can come and make that immediate impact. Teetering the line between future and guys. I think we've been, we're going back for. Let's right back to immediate impact. I think Nick Nash come right. And again, there's always going to be. It always is a thing, right? Like, will the competition level? But we've seen it so many times where guys that produce at a high level that didn't have that same competition level, they come in when they have good footwork, they have good understanding of where to get, how to, like Nick Nash, where to get open, a good route tree. I think Nick Nash, regardless of the competition level, can come in and be a good pro right away. And him and Zacchaeus can kind of trade off on reps.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds like a great scenario to me, given the value.
Very, very big disclaimer. We are not taking Nick Nash over Kyle Williams.
Yeah, no, literally.
Kyle Williams will not be on the board at this point.
No, and if he is, then reverse it, and we took Kyle Williams.
Yeah, Nick Nash is the Bears' 5th round pick. Now the Bears have a pair of 2 late. I think they're both 7th rounders. Yeah, 2 late 7ths, and this is where I think they should try to maneuver around, maybe pick up a 6th. I think it's really big if they're able to pick up a 4th. But with that being said, I mean, this draft is definitely much different than our other mocks. I don't mind it though. Like I think, I think just so you know, this would not be my ideal draft, but I do think that we need to play the scenario where we don't get the ideal players just because of the way the talent stacks up in this draft class. So now we're sitting here with the defensive interior player, a tackle, wide receiver, a safety, and a running back. I think maybe we should look at the tight end room, Dobbs.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I mean, we have Gadsden from Syracuse, Matavo from UCLA, Brent Kuthi from Utah, Bryson Nesbitt from North Carolina, Rivaldo Fairweather from Auburn. So not gonna sit here and act like I know a ton about all those guys, but I don't know. I mean, the Bears also do need a linebacker. So we have Smell Mondin Jr., Jalen Walker, Kane Medrano, Berthendall from Stanford, Greg Penn the third from LSU. I don't really know where you want to go here. I mean, linebacker or tight end is probably where I'm leaning, unless you want to pick up another back like Jaquavius Marks or Woody Marks, Montrell Johnson Jr., Raheem Sanders, Donovan Edwards. I don't know. I feel like this is kind of what positions do we want to take a swing on at the end of the draft?
No, I think you know what, Hunter. I think I have an idea what I want to
Go
do
ahead.
here. You let me know what you think.
No, go ahead. Cook.
I think I really like Smile Munden. And here's my thought process on it is like I'm not a big fan of like it's almost like the tight ends at this point. It's rough. I mean, just as far as again, I'm with you where I haven't seen a lot of the guys that are left, but what I do believe of a lot of the guys that are left is that I don't know if the blocking that they would produce in it's kind of like what problem or one of the better right. If they can be that combo that we would want versus a guy like Smile Munden who it's just more like he's got to start. That's kind of the thing is with the scouting reports, it's like he's good. He's like a fast, big player. It's just like there are sometimes where it doesn't seem like he understands exactly what was happening, and that's why he's slow to react to things. But that's why I think the Bears are a great situation because you get a guy who doesn't have that immediate impact, or you don't demand the immediate impact from him. You can let him sit for a year, couple years, and develop, knowing that he's not going to be on the field most of the time. Yeah, maybe in certain 4-3 packages, you're going to want to get him out there. Like it's not like
right
any time, but you understand that he doesn't need to be an immediate impact great starter, and you give him time to let that mental aspect develop, knowing that he has the physical tools. And if he ends up right, you get him in right with the right guys that are already we expect to be right. They didn't have the best year last year, but two linebackers that have proven they can have really good years in the league. You learn off of them, become that guy for the future. All of a sudden, this looks like a really good value pick down the road. I think that's why I would say personally, I think I'm a big fan of the Smile London pick right here.
All right, I took him, and now we're back on the board again. Now it's just kind of like you're playing with money, house money, because like I said, these guys they might not even make the roster. Um, I guess it's just like, do you want to take a swing on the best player available or just try to hit at a position you think you need? And I do think taking a swing on like an offensive lineman here would make a lot of sense, unless we want to target like an edge rusher.
No, I mean I'm with you. Yeah. Who are you? Where are you thinking? Because
I just think
maybe
it's
some
like,
guys you're thinking. Because
I mean, there's Timothy McKay with North Carolina State, Joshua Gray, Oregon State, Clay Webb, Ethan Downs, Xavier Truss, Johnny Walker Jr., Elijah Alston, Marcus Ware. It's just, I mean, there's this guy, I don't know, like there's a guy named Issa Pohl from Washington State, and there's this guy on Twitter, and he had him as his profile picture for like 2 weeks. So that's how I know him. But yeah, I mean, I feel like I would go lineman here just because it's like, what if you hit on one, Like, so w- do you have a preference, or does this all just sound like nothing to you?
no, I
Because to
mean
me,
okay.
I don't
So
know these guys.
no,
So
where okay, what lineman do we have still on the board? Just because I just need to know like who do we got on the board?
Timothy McKay, Ty Robinson, Joshua Gray, Clay Webb, Ethan Downs, Xavier Truss, Johnny Walker Jr., Elijah Alston, Marcus Ware, Trey Woodig, Howard Cross the third.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm
I
with
mean,
you.
you
Where
could look at it like Johnny Walker Jr. He was an edge rusher, 6'3", 255. He played at Missouri, so it's like SEC ball. He played really well against Arkansas, Iowa, UMass. So, but when he played Alabama and Oklahoma, it wasn't bad games, but they weren't great.
yeah, I mean, you know what? I think I don't I don't mind I don't mind what direction we go here. I also don't mind Clay Webb's depth. Like I think Clay Webb, like sometimes you go small school
Those
guys
guys
who
always.
produce well. Like
Let's do Clay Webb then. Let's
I
say
like
Clay
I
Webb.
like with guys you gave me. I think I like Clay Webb could come eat. Don't expect much for initially. Give him some time to develop behind the scenes. You know what? I think Clay Webb might be best case scenario right here.
All right, here is our mock draft. We have Kenneth Grant, Quinshad Judkins, Xavier Watts, Ozzie Trapillo, Nick Nash, Smale Munden Jr., Clay Webb. Probably not Bears fans' favorite mock or outcome. And I understand that this is not my favorite outcome, but the reality is like, what happens if certain players are on the board and like this is the draft they come out with? I wouldn't hate it, but I wouldn't love it.
I think my favorite one was the last one we did.
Yeah.
But again, it's thought experiment. You gotta thought experiments. We gotta test different waters. It just what would be the point if we did the same thing every time?
Yep.
That's kind of how I look at it. So you gotta mix it up. You
We
gotta
got
try
another
new
month
things.
of mocks.
Yeah, exactly. Like you just want to tune in to hear the same picks every time. Like what fun is
You're
that?
crazy. You're insane.
That would literally be insanity.
Yeah.
The definition of insanity, just doing the same thing or doing expecting different results.
Yeah.
What's the point? I mean, we gotta do different things. There's just no two ways about it, Hunter. That's the fun of mock season.
Yep. No, the fun of mock season is when people are wrong and then you just tell them they're wrong. That's the whole fun of mock season, it seems like. Just like I was listening to, I'll keep this short, but I was listening to the Chris Sims podcast, and he was victory lapping because last year his top tier was Brian Thomas Jr. and Malik Neighbors, and he had Marvin Harrison Jr. third, and people were tearing him apart. So the first 27 minutes of his podcast today were just victory lapping and reading the old comments. So not everything that you hear, not everything that you read is going to be true. So I thought Justin Fields was going to be amazing for the Bears. Now, it was a while ago, and I've learned a lot since then, but things happen. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is the Bear Cave. Let us know in the comments who you guys want the Bears to take at 10. Be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed the video and subscribe for daily or not daily, weekly Bears content.